Hey, it's Yay for Yarn, and today I'm doing a little tutorial on how to make a cup cozy on your Addi knitting machine. I'm using the Addi Pro for this. The Addi King is going to be too big around, so we're making a tube on the Addi Pro that will fit around a regular sized cup. I'm in circular knitting mode, and I have some worsted weight yarn, and I'm going to cast on in circular knitting mode, but I'm going to cast on with a piece of waste yarn to start with, because when we're finished, we're going to graft this together. So I'm going to start with the first black needle and cast on all the way around. Now that we've got our yarn cast on, our waste yarn, we're going to start with our working yarn, our knitting yarn, and we're going to knit in circular knitting mode for approximately 20 to 25 rows. I'm going to stop at 20 rows and stretch it lengthwise and measure it. And the length that you have now, it's not going to be exact because this right here is stretched widthwise, so it's going to shrink lengthwise. So the lengthwise measurement of your piece should be double the width of what you want your finished cup cozy to be. Right now it is just shy of 5 inches, so once this unstretches here, it'll be about 5 inches. So I'm going to probably do about 3 to 4 more rows. Alright, now I'm also going to bind off with waste yarn. And before I cut my yarn, since we're going to be grafting this, we need to cut our yarn to be 2 to 3 times longer than the piece is around. So I'm just going to estimate here by running the yarn around my Addi. That's 1 time around, and then we'll do twice that plus some extra, and then we'll cut it. So we're going to leave this hanging. We're going to use this to graft our yarn together, graft the ends together, and we're going to be using our waste yarn to cast off. Alright, and now what we're going to do here, you're going to need to watch the video that I have on my channel for grafting tubes that are made on the Addi, and I will put a link to that. But what we're doing here is, instead of grafting the ends together like this, like I showed in the tutorial, we're going to turn it inside out so that the wrong side is facing out, and we're going to graft the ends together this way, so that they're curling together like so, and that will give us a nice amount of stretch, because when you have a seam, then it limits the amount of stretch. Grafting does not limit the amount of stretch. So you're going to get the full stretch of the knitted yarn, since the knitting is going this way instead of this way. So we're going to graft it together like this. We've got the wrong side facing up, and then we've got the two ends right side out. We're going to graft those edges together, just like I show you how to do in the grafting tubes made on your Addi knitting machine video. So here we have the finished cup cozy, and this is a rather short cup. It's about 6 to 7 inches tall, so I didn't make mine super tall. If you're making this for a cup that usually holds hot liquids, then you're going to want to make it wider. And as long as you remember that you need to make it twice as long as you want it to be, then it will correctly fit your cup. This one is about 2.5 to 2 3/4 inches wide, laying flat, and when it stretches around the cup, it's going to shrink a little bit in length, but that's okay, that's just what knitting does. And as you can see here, the knitting does not have any visible seam. This right here is where my grafting was. But you can't see it because it's totally invisible. And when you use the knitting widthwise, when you use the widthwise stretch of the knitting, that has more give to it than the lengthwise stretch. So instead of making a tube going this way around the cup, which would have been awfully wide for this size of a cup, we made it going this way so that we get the full amount of stretch that the knitting is capable of. And I like the self-striping yarns for this. And you don't even have to use this on a cup that will hold a hot liquid. My family likes to use stainless steel cups like this just to drink water out of. And when all your cups match, then you can just knit a little cozy for them. And that way you can identify which one is yours and not be drinking out of somebody else's cup. So I hope you give this a try. Let me know how it works for you in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!